Hello, everyone, and welcome to Into the Wastelands, the Eternal Army. Yeah, I might have briefly forgotten it, but now you're briefly remembering it. Thank you guys for joining us for an evening of Dungeons & Dragons. I am Niall. I will be your Dungeon Master for this wonderful evening with these wonderful players. We are thrilled to be streaming at twitch.tv/rolltogether@the And for those of you who are new to Dungeons & Dragons, everyone here plays a fantasy character in a fantasy universe. We are wonderful, wonderful characters of many different varieties, classes, races, all the kinds of things that make up D&D characters. And essentially, everybody rolls dice to determine what happens or what they can do or if they can do it. Highs are good, lows are bad generally. Whilst all of these wonderful people that you can see on screen are playing characters, I am playing everything and anyone they interact with. Literally anything. It could be, I could be asked to, I don't know, create a whole philosophy on the spot. I could be asked to do all kinds of madness. Introduce characters' family members, recapitulate other adventures they may have had in their life. Who's to say? Who's to say? Not me. And together we create this wonderful story for you guys to watch. Let's take it over to the players. Starting with Evie. Would you like to give your name, your pronouns, your characters' names, maybe characters' pronouns, and maybe a bit of a read on the situation as they're feeling now? A lot of responsibility has been placed into your hands at the moment, and you've kind of been the only one that's really made friends with our trapped prisoner of war, I guess, if you could call them. So, how's Malice doing? I'm just going to check on Malice. How's Malice?
I'm Evie. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing Malice Facile, who is using he, him pronouns. Yes. And Malice has had a real character arc in a very short amount of time, going from henchman who does not understand what free will is to understanding that people have choices and maybe look out for the underdog, and is still feeling a little bit lost, but kind of wants to look out for his new friend whose name I do not remember.
I will tell you now. It is Hitara.
Hitara. Brilliant. Yes. And and I also found out some information last week that I don't remember either, so I'll look at some notes.
It's all good. It's all good. Hannah, would you like to kick us off? How's Protea doing? A lot's happened. For Protea.
So much has happened for Protea. I think Protea is feeling a bit blue. Yeah. She's shifted into winter, meaning that she's kind of bummed out at the news that her long-lost sibling, who she thought was unavoidably detained, had been avoidably detained, and not only that, but by her very parents. Damn it. But sort of focused on the fight that is up ahead and just kind of feeling glum, and that glumness may spread in ways that are new and exciting for playing.
Wonderful. Thank you, Hannah. Michael.
Mike. I use he, him, and I'm playing Jamie Link, who uses she, her, and she's like at this point where she could fall off a cliff one way or fall backwards, and it's really dependent on what happens over the next couple of things. But I feel like she's also aware that the world doesn't revolve around her a little bit more as of recent, seeing all the people that we've all been thrown together and seeing everybody kind of actually, my problem isn't that big of a, other people have problems as well, not just me. So it's an interesting thing to actually thinking of other people, but actually nice.
And who knows, maybe if she does fall off that cliff edge, somebody will be there to catch her. Maybe 4 others. Who'll know?
What?
Rebecca, how's Veracity doing? Tell us more.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I play Veracity. We use she, her pronouns. Veracity's really frustrated because there's this stupid woman in a cage who's like, you have to fight me to prove that you're strong, but also if you prove you're strong, we'll kill you all, but also no, we won't. And it's logical fallacies plus being generally unkind, which is not Veracity's favourite combination of things. And Protea is sad and isn't explaining why. And Jamie and Malice are talking about weird pacts with evil people. And Vega's just being generally Vega-ish. And it's all just a bit much, really.
All too much. Lovely, lovely. Well, speaking of Vega, G, how's it going?
Good. I'm G. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Vega, who uses he, him pronouns. And I mean, Vega's kind of ambivalent at the moment because, on the one hand, wanted to get into some situation to like make a bit of a name for himself, and now is potentially chosen by a god for a cause which he's not entirely sure he agrees with because he doesn't entirely understand what it is, if it's a good idea or not, but he seems to be going that way because no really good reasons to just nope out of the situation has happened yet, so he's going with it.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. There's more questions than answers at the moment. And before we kick off, we do have an announcement. We will be taking a break from the Eternal Army for a couple of months while some of us have scheduled work conflicts. Lots of working, so all these wonderful people are doing some wonderful things. A lot of Christmas themed stuff. And yeah, we'll be back in the new year, 2022, Electric Boogaloo, to continue part 2 Electric Boogaloo of the Eternal Army into the Wastelands. So yeah, we will have a nice little mid-season finale today for you guys. This stream should run for about 3 hours. We'll see how my timings do. There'll roughly be a break, about 5-10 minutes, somewhere in the middle. And we are delighted to be sponsored by some wonderful sponsors. First of which is Hero Forge. Hero Forge offers a fully customization tabletop miniature with dozens of fantasy races and thousands of parts to choose from. With their easy design tools, you can build your perfect miniature online using their fully 3D in-depth character creator right in your web browser. Hero Forge is constantly expanding a catalog of customization options, so check it out at heroforge.com. It's also a really good way to start designing characters. It's really fun. A lot of inspiration can come from Hero Forge, so thank you, Hero Forge, for being fucking great. We're also delighted to be sponsored by Ultra Pro. Get your tabletop organized with character folios and dice bags. Ultra Pro is the leading manufacturer in supplier sports and gaming collectible accessories, as well as other gaming accessories. So join us in Twitch chat today. Write anything you want, get a gift voucher. And these can be given all over the world. So head to ultrapro.com. We're also sponsored by the wonderful Elderwood Academy, who are premium purveyors of bespoke gaming-themed gear, including hex chest dice boxes, spellbook dex box / rolling trays disguised as bespoke ancient arcane tomes, and scroll and codex dice towers and rolling trays. So you can currently get 10% off of your Elderwood purchase with the code roll-together, all caps, at the checkout. So go there, get 10% off, buy some cool stuff at elderwoodacademy.com. We're also supported by D&D Beyond, your guide to D&D digitally. You can see everybody's character sheets on the left-hand side, I want to say. I could be pointing the wrong way. Who's to know? Chris, all right, is the one to know. We're also supported by Level Up Dice, so there is a link in chat for our table stakers range, so go check out Level Up Dice. We're also supported by 2 lovely D&D video games, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms and Warriors of Waterdeep. Mods, you can deal with this because I do it every time. I don't get it. So the mods are putting it in now. This is how you get your chest for Idle Champions. That's the one there. Okay. And this is how you get the gems for Warriors of Waterdeep. It's that one there. Fucking nailed it. We are Roll Together RPG on all social medias. There will be links in chat, so do like, follow, subscribe. A massive thank you to our D20 Patreon club. You can find a link in chat, so join the dice heads from just £1, $1, and unlock more tiers when you join. Our shows are also available as podcasts, so just search in Roll Together RPG in all your podcast apps. We should be on it. If we're not, let us know. We'll get on it. Finally, we play with a diverse group of players who play a diverse set of characters with wide-ranging sexual and gender identities. Our tables are trans and GNC positive, and we encourage and champion trans and GNC players and characters and DMs in all our games. The DM and players may portray characters that are of different gender to their own, and we do avoid misgendering as best as we can, but acknowledge that it does happen, and we have a company policy in place for correcting people on pronouns. If we do miss an instance of misgendering, we are open to being corrected, so please do let us know if you think it's been missed. But for now, let's begin. Cue the theme music. So, where we last left off, Protea's Predators, as the party is known officially as, has made it to this encampment of the city of Arkanharasa that have been forcibly removed from their homes, a refugee camp, essentially. It's in the middle of the wastelands, and they're struggling for food, for just general shelter. It's hot and horrible out there. You've experienced lots and lots of sandstorms. Wow. Sandstorms on the way here. So you understand the harshities of what it must be like to live out in the deserts. Once you got here, you managed to get Rulvuk to his council, where you can see that the city itself seems to be split within itself as well. A lot of people following this unholy convent. Wow. Niall's tired. Niall's a tired boy, and he's doing his best. This unholy convent that seemed to have a bit more of a militaristic invasion kind of vibe going on, where they want to come to Faerun and just take because they believe their god wants them to do that. Rulvuk has told you that he came up with this sham prophecy to basically save his city and sort of get back to the way things were. What he feels is, potentially the best way forward. Rulvuk's partner took you to see a prisoner of war that was apparently one of the members of the Eternal Army that had been captured during the fight. You found out that this member was called Hitara. She was a messenger sent from the king to offer you a chance to save Arkanharasa. She seemed to sort of preach a lot of ideals in regards to why the Eternal Army exists, to conquer only to make things stronger, to balance the forces of good and evil at any point. Kind of claimed a lot of big things, but Vega quite perceptively incited that maybe Hitara isn't exactly sold on all of this dogma either. And I think you also deduced that her father was the king?
Mm-hmm.
Either that, or I've just given a big spoiler away.
No, I
think we got that.
Yeah, and she basically told me anyway, so...
Yeah. Then Malice did make best friends with her, to be fair. Amongst all that jazziness, Protea discovered her sort of long-lost sister, Kiaman, who was, as sort of stated earlier, apparently sent off with no track of response and just gone to Protea's life. And it turns out that she's been out gallivanting the world, sort of very similar to Theros, and just not been in touch, which caused Protea to go from a wonderful spring to a heartbroken winter, Eladrin. And then, whilst all this drama llama was going down, purple worms attacked. You decided to let Hitara free. She told you that she would take one of the purple worms on the right of the encampment, and you were left to deal with the left one. And that is where we find ourselves. From the very far side of the encampment, you can see this large, gargantuan, purple worm with like large chitinous shells burrowing and then rising back up into the refugee encampment. Screams are heard, and like people are running northwards as much as they can away from either side of the encampment as these large purple worms start to just devour and destroy the edges of the camp. Would we like to roll initiative?
Yeah.
Dungeon these dragons.
Oh, lordy, that's cloudy. Okay, gang-a-lang. Who has above 20?
26.
Ooh. Rebecca,
crazy.
did you have your hand up there as well?
Just a dirty 20, yeah.
A dirty 20.
D6 is just showing off.
26 is ridiculous.
Well, +9, which is ridiculous.
That's amazing.
Between 15 and 20.
Yo.
Yo, what we got, Protea?
I got 15.
What we got, Malice?
A sexy 17.
Oh, sexy 17. So make sure it's sexy. Jamie, what have we got?
A 9.
A 9. I hope it makes you feel better. You're not actually last initiative.
Woo.
The worm has a -2 to its initiative.
Good.
A big boy worm. Yeah. So you guys start to sprint off in that order, leading the charges. Vega, Veracity, you are quite close behind, and then Malice, Protea, bringing up the rear with Jamie, just sort of like probably just not wearing the most functional outfit. I imagine it's more aesthetically pleasing. You know, running in heels isn't. You know, Bryce Dallas Howard has shown us how to do it, but it's not easy. So you arrive within. You have to push past people as people like screaming and running past you, and you can see this worm just start to burrow in and then comes out in front of you, just about 50 foot in the air. It's literally massive, and it sort of looks down at you, and you can sense that it almost knows that you're coming closer. It can sense that you can see it's rearing itself up for people approaching. It seems to have that kind of manner about it. I'll say you're 60. How far would you like to? How close would you like to get up to it, G?
Trying to remember how far my things reach.
Because I'll say you can stop at wherever you think you would stop, kind of thing, if that makes sense. Like if you've got spells that are 120 foot away, why would you go 30 foot closer?
I would be about 30 feet away from you.
Nice. Yeah, you run straight up towards it, about 30 foot away from it. That's where you start your turn. Let's just go in order and say where we're placed, just so it makes sense for everyone. Veracity, how close do you want to get to the worm?
30 feet.
30 foot up with Vega. Malice, how close do you want to get to the worm?
I would like to start the turn.
Yeah. Just like, where would you like to start in terms of
I'm going to
distance?
get right up in there.
30 foot as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Hannah?
60, please.
60 foot. And Gemma?
I'll take the other side of Veracity and G and be, yeah.
Sweet.
All three of us stood in a line.
There's 4 of you. Yeah, all 4 of you just stood looking at that worm like, Protea's. Well, start of the round. Vega, that's you. 30 foot with the posse.
Cool.
The Protea Predator posse.
I am going to use my water whip. So as I run up, there's a sort of elemental symbol on Vega's arm that kind of glows, and water starts to flow around his arm through the kind of the trimmed bit in his fur, and then snakes down his arm, and he kind of like swings it like a mace almost. There's like a ball of it, and he just kind of flings it towards the worm, and It has to make a dex saving throw.
Which we all know is good. Wonderful. Okay. That is a 9, so I don't think it does it.
That is a fail. So I'm going to use a bunch of key points to make this stronger. So hang on, I need to use 2 in the first place. So I'm going to use another 2. So I do 4d10 bludgeoning damage. Sorry, 5d10.
Nice. Go for it. Smash that worm.
Which is 30.
30 points of damage in
30
total.
points of damage.
That's what we like to hear. Nice. Yeah, you smash this worm like massively with your water mace ball of power.
And like, so how tall is it? How much out of the ground is it?
I'd say it's about like 50 feet up.
Okay.
It's a big boy.
Fair.
So you're just sort of smashing
I'm going for
into
somewhere
it.
in the middle.
Yeah, nice. Like as you like smash into it, you hear it like it's not even like a squid, it's like a bellow. It's like something inhuman that just like
and
yeah.
I knock it prone. I get to either knock it prone or pull it 25 feet closer to me. I don't think I want to pull it closer, so.
See, here's the thing.
I don't really know how it can be prone.
Can you knock a snake prone?
Yeah,
Like-
bud. Stun the snake. The snake can't move.
No, but that would be restraining it. That would be like
No, if you hit a snake on
Grappling.
the head, it goes sort of floppy and then it doesn't move for a bit.
I don't want to know how you know this.
Tropical
Hannah goes into the
climate.
wild and just slaps snakes. She looks at her, she's like, back,
Tropical
back.
climate, and you just bap it, and then it sort of just lies there, and then you run away.
Okay,
I mean,
you
a
know
snake
what?
still has a back. So if a snake is on its back, then it's prone.
I'll be honest. I'm gonna take what Hannah's saying. I'm gonna run with it because at the end of the day, like, it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, it's not like laid down, but it's fucked essentially. It's like it's being bapped. You did do 30 points of damage in like the first hit. So yeah, you bap this big snake boy, and it like that like of like absolute pain, and you can just sort of see like spittle flying out from these like chitinous, almost like beak teeth. And then inside you can sort of, as it like falls to the ground next to you, you can see like all these like multiple rows of teeth just, and like part of the like the houses, the tents that have been set up, the different areas that people have been staying in just gets crushed by this large purple wham as it falls. It kind of like curls around you, so you're all. Yeah, even Jamie, you're not parted from anyone, so it's almost like alongside you now rather than 60 foot away from you. But in terms of mechanics, you're still 60 foot away. Don't worry, I got your back. Vega, you got more things to do on your turn? I believe you might.
Yes, I feel like I should do something for my bonus action.
Yeah, if you want. It's up to you. Do whatever you want.
There's not really much of interest. No, I'm good. I'm good.
No, I'm gonna slap it. I like it. Just give it a little slap. Rassi, that's you then.
Yeah.
This purple worm has fallen across part of this encampment that you have been calling your rest stop, I guess. Not really become much of a home yet. You've only been there for like a few hours.
So I could set it on fire, but setting things on fire is for happy veracity.
Okay.
So, and I have a new spell, or angry veracity, but right now she's just sort of miserable. Could you make a doobie-doobie-doo? Where is it?
Doobity-doo.
Could you make a
Doobity-doo.
Could you make a wisdom saving throw for me, please? Now?
Ah, purple worms, famously very wise.
I hope so.
Ooh, I mean, I don't think this is enough. Sorry. Just joke. Oh,
This is bad.
saving throw. You say
Yes.
saving throw. 19.
Bother!
Yeah. It's got
cool,
a
it's
minus
not
one
confused.
to its. It's got a minus one to its wisdom, but it's proficient in wisdom saving throws.
Well,
Its willpower is unknown.
that is a waste of half of my 4th level spell slot. So, in frustration, I would like to turn into a bear, please, Niall. But I'd like the bear to be on fire, please.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
It won't. I don't think it will. I'm allowed to have it mechanically to do any extra damage, but aesthetically, I'd like the bear to be on fire.
The bear is on fire. How do you transform from veracity to veracity?
I think
Hannah does not approve. The resident poet is like, fuck you, Naya.
I am here for veracity. I think she is very excited about her new spell and perks up, and then is so frustrated when it fails that she stamps her foot. And when the foot stamps, it turns into a barefoot, and then it spreads up and she grows as it goes. And then as she looks at her hand, she's like, huh, and then it's on fire.
Nice. It's like a normal bear, but it's like,
Yeah, that is
it's
what
like
happens.
a blazing inferno.
Human Torch style.
Yeah.
Climb on!
Next turn, are you going to
It's-
attack it with your bare hands?
I
Ah! eBay.
am.
And with any movement or anything? Or?
Yes, for the sake of argument, by the way, it's a brown bear I've gone for. And yes, I would like to move up into the worm's face because I now have a huge stack of temporary hit points, so I quite want it to hit me.
Okay, you're gonna try to make a performance check then. If you want to be, you want to be like, hey, I'm a bear, come eat me.
Great.
I'm a bear, come eat me.
Not amazing. It's 14.
Okay. All right. Cool. That puts Malice. You are in the running order with Protea next. So, Malice, what do you do?
Okay, I am going to spend an action surge to run up to this bad boy and attack it 4 times.
You
Amazing.
do it.
All with the magnificent Shenane.
Shanae. I forgot about Shanae. Oh Lord, Shanae, your power is unbelievable.
Okay, so that is a 18, a dirty 20, a 14, and a 29.
So the 14 misses. The other 3 smash, 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 smash.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Where are my dice? Here's my
Maybe
dice.
that's how Shanae should sound. Oh, Malice, you are doing so well.
Any words of
Yeah.
encouragement are gratefully received, Shenane. So that was 3 that hit, right?
Yes, 3 out of the 4.
Cool, and I'm adding 1 thing for
Psionic
a psychic-y,
die. Yeah. boy.
psychic-y thing. Fun.
Do you wanna move? Oh no, you're not high enough level yet, are you, to do extra stuff. You just add the damage.
Yeah.
You.
You. $35?
35 points of damage sounds wonderful. Jeez Louise. Oy. Yeah, how do you just take Shanae and just shove it in?
Yeah, I just kind of see it laying there. It's like, well, time to go to town. And just
Is
start
this
wailing on him.
like a traditional Malice of like trying to cut through to the other side again?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're just like hacking away at this chitinous shell. Like you can hear this big like in the first one, and then as like you manage to get through the shell, and as you pull out again, you smash in further, and you notice the axe sort of like disappear for a bit, and then come back out, and you're like, ha ha! You're like psionic, your psionic energy sort of like pulsing around you as you over into this chitinous shell. Any extra things you'd like to do on your turn?
I'm pretty sure that is everything I can do.
That sounds wonderful then.
So I
Great
will
to
wipe some
have that help.
viscera from my eyes.
Not that you need to, because of blind fighting.
That's true.
Protea,
Yeah.
is now your turn.
Could I have this lovely prone worm make me a dex save?
At disadvantage, for it is prone and
Yes.
also crap anyway.
I love that.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's still not good enough. I don't think either of them would have been good enough for you. 11.
No. Lol, no. Okay, so what happens is you see Protea walk slowly towards this thing, and we're in the desert. There's sand. And the sand sort of starts to rise in this 40-foot, 20-foot radius, I guess, column up around the worm. And as it rises, it turns into frost or snow, if that's like
Yeah, that's
little
cool.
hailstones, more or less. And it just swirls around this worm, so it's like this cold shaft in the middle of the desert.
Nice.
So yeah, and that is Protea's new spell.
Nice.
Storm. So 2d8 bludgeoning
That was
damage,
a four.
46 cold damage.
Roll those dice.
Will do.
Wow, I've had a tablet for too long. I on my laptop and it sort of went dark and I touched the screen to try and make it go light again. That's not good.
It's when you're looking at actual photographs and you try to move it. And
Oh man.
Done that
Have you-
before.
see?
it was an aerial photograph of a building, so it was like looking at Google Maps, and I was like, I wonder what's around that side. And I tried.
Oh man, that's great. I love that. That's so
Your
good.
question is, were you sober?
Yeah, I was in a primary school.
Good. I'm glad
Fair
the
enough.
answer wasn't no. I was in a primary school.
I have rolled the dice.
What did it roll?
I got a 33.
Whoa, what is it? Is this the 30 team or something? We're just rolling 30s all day.
Yeah, so that's 33 damage for
Wait,
Ice Storm. Anybody who enters that bit where the worm is, it's difficult terrain until the next turn. So, as a heads
Cool.
up, don't go in.
Let's say you've put it at the mass center where the worm sort of like is coming out of the ground. That way, nobody. You know what I mean? It's mainly the worm that'll be going in and out of that space.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
And with that in mind, I'm going to just stand there and be a bit mizzo, I think. Not use any.
A single tear.
One frozen tear. No, just stand there like. That's it.
What is this? Is this a spell? That puts us at jamais. What does it do?
I will bonus action hex. There we go. Try to put them together. I'll choose Dex as its disadvantage ability check.
Nice.
And then
Yeah.
I will Eldritch Blast.
I will say it's already at disadvantage because it's prone. If you want to pick a different one.
If it's prone.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'll go Wisdom. That maybe might help. Gee.
I think that would be.
And then I'll just shoot with my Eldritch Blast.
I'm not gonna say you've got disadvantage because it's gargantuan, even if it is prone. Like, you just can't. No, you wouldn't miss that. Well, you could if you roll terribly, but not a disadvantage.
So I've got an 18
That hits.
and a 13.
That misses. Bless you.
Sorry?
No need to be sorry.
2 points of force damage and 3 points of necrotic damage.
Is that 5 in all, did you say?
Yeah.
Sweet. Ooh, pardon me. Sorry, burpy little boy. Yeah, your Eldritch Blast comes out and ricochets into this chitinous hide. You feel it like reverberate, and then you see like part of the hide start to almost like rot and like mold grow because of your like necrotic, like sort of like, like the moisture comes out of it. It almost like gets more brittle and harder. Any extra things you'd like to do on your oh no, you've done everything, haven't you? Unless you'd like to move somewhere.
Stick myself behind the Veracity's booty. I'm going to just stay behind to there.
Okay. Well, it is now the worm's turn. And, Veracity, this may be the moment you figured you might have fucked up. As the worm is going to get up from the ground using half its movement, and then its whole, like, maw head thing, the hole that it calls its mouth, looks down upon the bear and just comes in for you for a... Ooh, this might not be enough. Oh, no, I think it might be 17 to hit.
A bear has an armor class of 11.
Oh, then yes. Could you please make a dexterity saving throw? You need to beat a 19.
Not strength. Dex.
It's a dexterity saving throw, and you need to beat a 19.
I have a dex mod of +0, so I have a what? % chance of getting this? That was a 10.
Well, first, as you go through all the teeth and Jamie, just in front of you, this worm buries its head where Veracity once was, and in front of you just starts burrowing into the ground. It does stop at a certain point. Let me just figure out how many dice I need to roll. And I'll do some
use my
descriptions.
reaction to cast a protective field. It doesn't do much. It just reduces damage by 1d8 + 2.
Nice.
Like that.
It only deals... Oh, wait. 12, 15, 16 points of damage, piercing.
Reduce that by 9.
Wow, it's only 7. This is why I'm a bear.
However, you have been swallowed.
That's nice.
And you start to move into the creature's belly. And other things will happen.
I have a teleport function if everything gets too dicey. It's fine.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Sorry, I'm just reading things. As that happens, Jamie, you hear this. As you turn and look behind you, you can see the tail rising out of the sand where the body was, like sort of next to the body, and it just comes and slams against Vega. Yeah. 26 hits. Can you make a Constitution saving throw? You need to be a 19 again for me, please.
Maybe I should have used the protective field for this.
19.
Oh, perfect. Sweet. Oh, wow, that's a lot of D6s.
I'm sorry, bud. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold the fucking phone. They're in difficult terrain, no?
Yeah, but they're not moving.
But when it starts its turn in difficult terrain, has to make a dex save.
Okay, sweet. Sweet. So, that was a 17, which is that passed? Oh, fair enough.
16.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that was a 17. So it's not prone.
Sorry.
Does it take any further damage then?
It does not. No, it doesn't. It's just it's slippery over there, lads.
Slippery.
Sorry.
Vega, you're kind of caught off guard you feel the shadow before anything else, and then this large stinger like produces itself through your thigh. As the tail sort of lands down behind you, the stinger stabs through your thigh, dealing 9, 18, 23 points of piercing damage. And then you feel this sort of like injection as something is forced into your body through the stinger. And you take, sorry, I need to get an app up. There's too many dice. I wish I'd say I'd rolled low, but I haven't. Oh, it's not too bad. You only take 19 points of poisoning damage on top of that.
Right.
But it's now the end of the worm's turn. You feel it like retract out of you as your leg sort of buckles under the pressure. It is now your turn.
Okay.
You always seem to take the most damage, and I'm not doing it on purpose. Like, it ate Veracity, and you were the first thing that hit it. I thought that was like logical.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
Oh no.
Okay, right. Give me a sec. I just need to do some quick consideration.
No worries. Oh, I need some more dice. Just for you, Veracity. Just for you.
Thanks.
Get the pink dice.
Cool. Right. In that case, yeah, I just turn around and take a few swings at it. And well, I've got my spear, so I take a couple of swings with my spear. And
Yeah, nice.
Then we'll bonus action flurry of blows as well.
Yeah, go for it.
So
Start
four
stabbing
attacks. So for the spear ones, oh my god. So an 18
That is.
and actually, a 10, which I'm assuming is a miss.
Yeah.
But there's the thing I can do. Nope, it's under there. Oh, there's too many bits of the character sheet.
Too many amazing things to do.
I think I can use a key point to not miss, or to.
You can add like your key die or something to the attack roll or something, isn't it? Wow, that was specific, wasn't it, Niall? Good one. Oh, so
Focused
good.
aim. Focused aim.
There you go. Is that a bonus action though?
No, it's just
Wow.
a thing I can do.
I've just Googled vitamin D instead of D&D Beyond.
Nice.
So yeah, the 10 I will use would have 2 key points to make it a 14.
14 will not hit, unfortunately.
Then I'll use a third to make it a 16.
I was going to say before you
Can I not do that?
Don't. No.
don't know.
Before you do, you can only spend 3.
Yeah.
Just
Can't
spend
make
it. Just spend the 2 because you're never going to make it. I just don't think it's fair to.
Right. Okay. All right then. Cool. So one of those hits, and for the 2 extra hits, oh my god, one doesn't hit and one is a natural 1.
Hoi, oi, oi. Well, we all know what. My legs. Sorry, we all know what natural 1 means. It means I get to use one of these wonderful crit fail cards.
I just realised I have so many Nat 20 cards in my notes section.
Oh yeah,
But you keep going.
guys.
I'm gonna find them.
So, you're
I've got
using.
some as well.
Oh no!
I can add 1d6 to a skill or attack roll.
Do you wanna add that d6 to see if
I'm
you
going to add my d6 to the spear that failed.
go for it? Essentially, the melee attack is unprepared. You cannot make attacks of opportunity against the target until the end of your next turn. And it was an unarmed strike, so I'm going to say that whilst you... Oh, go on, what did you roll for your spear?
So I rolled a 5, which, with my 2 key points that I've spent, makes it up to 19.
That hits. So whilst the spear pierces the chitinous hide very well, and your third punch did as well, didn't it?
So yeah, my first of the unarmed, the flurry of blows.
Your second as you, so let's say you use the spear, so you're like hacking in with the spear, you pull it in again and you stab into it. And then as you pull the spear out, you like leap up and one kick. And then as you turn to like kick it with your other leg in midair, you like crunch your toes against it. Instead of hitting with the ball of your foot, you manage to like crack your toes against it, and you hear your like feet bones go, you know, that horrible, like uncomfortable, you're like, ooh, my bones are creaking. And you cannot, you like land sort of oddly on your foot, and you're like, ooh, and you can't make opportunity attacks this round.
Okay.
Till you next time. So it's not that
bad. Cool. So in terms of damage,
yes,
7. 9, so that's 16. That's going to be one of them. So that's 22.
22 points of damage. That's what we like to hear.
Oh, wait, sorry. 26 points of damage.
26 is even better. Sweet. This thing is like looking rough as you have just like pierced its chitinous hide, and that first kick really created like a smashing crack within its hide as well. It's just you are dealing tons of damage. You've just rolled your foot. Any extra things you'd like to do, or is that any movement or anything?
Nope. Is it going to get an opportunity attack if I move away from it?
If you tried to like get out of reach of its, if you leave 10 foot, then yes.
Yeah. Then no.
Excellent. Veracity. At the start of your turn, you are moving further and further into this thing's gullet, and you take. What are those? Did not roll properly. Oh Lord. 10, 13, 15, 16, 17 points of acid damage.
That's okay. I am still in temporary hit points.
Oh, wait. This is the start of each of the worm's turns. So you've not actually taken that damage yet.
Haha.
So don't worry about it. But I will write that down. How much did I say? 18?
17.
17. I've written that in brackets. So lest we forget.
Right.
If you don't kill it soon, you will be digested.
Hey, do I have restricted movement or anything?
You are blinded and restrained.
So I can't attack?
I believe so.
I can't remember restrained.
I'm going to get it up now for you. I usually have my thingamabob, but I don't have
restrained. Attack rolls. No, I can. I can't move.
Sweet.
And I can't benefit from bonus, and anything attacking me has advantage.
But you
I
have
can attack, but with
disadvantage.
disadvantage.
Yeah, and you have disadvantage on dex saving throws.
I'm a bear, so I'm going to attack it with disadvantage, please.
Do you want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
You do have total cover against any other attack outside of the worm.
Yay! Cool. Well, with disadvantage, I have 2 attacks because I'm a bear, a bite attack and a claw attack, and they've both got +6 to hit. Ooh, nice. So with disadvantage, that's a 19 for the bite attack to hit.
Hits.
Great. And then I'll do the claw attack now. With disadvantage, one of those was a nat 20. Why? But with disadvantage, that's still a 16 to hit.
16 misses, unfortunately.
Even though I'm inside it with its nice, like, soft...
It's like, it's because your claws are kind of like pushed to get together, so whilst you're like you can't go.
Fine. That is 1d8 plus 4. Doobie-doo. Where are my d8s? What would d8 look like? A d8 looks like that.
They look like 2 d4s butt to butt.
Thanks, mate. That is 7 + 4, 11 points of damage.
Nice.
I'm a bear.
I'll bet.
I am on fire, though.
I'm on fire. Unfortunately, your fire's being smooshed. You still can't see. It's like hard
I'm
to
on
see
fire
fire when
in
you've
my
got
heart,
when
Niall.
you've got gullet like that.
I feel like indigestion.
Yeah. Imagine how bad the worm feels. It's trying to eat you and you're attacking it. You're biting its throat. Wonderful. Any extra things you can do?
No, absolutely nothing.
Then I am sorry. We'll have to move on. Malice, it is your turn.
Cool, I'm going to
This worm
continue
is
trying to
looking-
cut the worm in half.
I reckon you will do a very good job of that. Fuck this worm up.
Okay, so I get just 2 attacks as per usual.
Yeah.
One of those is a nat 20, and one of them is a
A
15.
natural 20, you say?
Yes.
Well, let's have a look at these wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Double damage is just double damage. That wasn't as cool as I thought. Oh wait, is it slashing? Is it what is? Yeah, it's slashing.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it? No, it's just double.
It is slashing. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's knave to chops, just regular double damage.
Okay.
It's not the least interesting of all these ones. So we've had like quadruple damage, we've had maximum damage. Today, just double damage. Double damage. Some of the other ones
Okay.
are pretty cool though.
So it was just one of them that hit, right?
Yeah, so the first natural 20, double that damage like you would on a regular critical hit.
Okay. And I'm also going to use a psionic strike. So,
Yeah, double that die as well.
okay. Oh, that was good. Okay, so 19. What's 19 doubled?
38.
30, thank you. 38.
38.
So that's just for the first hit. What about the
No,
second one?
that's like I rolled it twice. So the 15, did that hit?
The 15 didn't hit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You rolled, yeah. But yeah, that first hit, 38 points of damage is a lot of damage. What is math? What is math?
Great question.
I mean,
Is this-
philosophers
Miserable
will try to
pile of
answer it for
secrets.
centuries.
That's a different book by Yola Fagud. Yeah, you start hacking away from knave to chop. You're like going up now rather than through. You're like, I want to change direction. And you start like carving your name into this large, gigantic worm. Any bonus actions or anything you'd like to do?
Yes, I'd like to summon some snakes, please.
Okay.
It seems like a good idea.
Did it though?
I can do it, so
You can. Give me 1 second. How many snakes would you like to summon?
all of the snakes.
As many as you can.
Yes.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I totally forgot about it. Oh, it's so much pleasure making this method. Give me a hot second. Where am I? Who am I? Where did I write the stats for this? Give me a second. Oh, wait. That's... Oh. Shanae.
Yes.
I totally forgot that I actually renamed it Shanae in my notes as well. It's written
Gotta
Shanae.
commit to it.
+3. You can do it at 5th level.
Mhm.
So that means let's have a look at how many snakes you can have. Oh, this is so good. Where is it? Conjure animals. So at 5th level, you would be able to try twice as many with a 5th level shot. So you can have 1 beast of a challenge rating of 2, so you could have 2 of those, or you could have 4 beasts of a challenge rating of 1, or you could have 8 of a half challenge rating, 16 of a quarter rating. So if you want to pick a snake, a particular snake, any snake creature from like D&D Beyond, do you want me to get a list up for you?
You know what? Just pick whatever you think is the coolest.
Nice.
Okay. Oh wait, I know what I should be doing. Let me go into the encounter. Snake. I'm a snake. Oh, I can't spell snake apparently. Sweet. All right.
Local wildlife must be so fucking confused.
Right. So, you could have 2 giant constrictor snakes. You could have what the fuck's this? No, that's an elemental, it's not a snake. You could have 8 regular constrictor snakes, 8 giant poisonous snake. You could have 16 flying snakes.
That one.
Oh wait,
Nice.
it doesn't actually say. It doesn't say for an 8th, so I'm just going to say 16. You could have 16 tiny flying snakes.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I didn't tell you something about this item before you summoned these snakes, which is essentially it is cursed, and until certain requirements are met, whenever you see snakes, they just don't like you. So there will be a 50-50% chance that they'll attack the worm, or the 50% chance that they'll attack you.
This feels like it would have been important information before I summoned 16 flying flying snakes.
I did give you glasses of identifying. Somebody has the identify spell on them with those glasses and has not identified your axe yet. So, hey, I did all the things I could do before creating this cursed item. So, would you like highs or lows, Evie?
I would like some high action, please.
Okay, I feel like because there's 16 of them, what I'll do is I'll roll 4 d8s and each one will have 4 snakes. So yeah, you might be dealing with 16, 12, 8, 4 snakes. We'll see. Did you pick highs?
Yep.
Right. Only 4 snakes come to attack you. The rest all start to attack the purple worm. Do you want to roll all these attack rolls? Do you have enough dice for this?
I mean, how many dice of what kind would it be?
12 d20s is what you'd want to roll. And they all have +6 to hit. It's up to you. I can roll this for you if you like.
Tell you what, I'll roll 4. You
Okay.
roll the other 6.
Okay, cool.
They have +4, you say?
They're +6 to hit.
+6. Well, I got 2 nat 20s.
I got a nat 20.
This is going to take a while.
Right, you've killed the worm. Just on that, you unleash like holy hell as you like raise the axe into the air. These snakes just start to like out of your clothing, just these flying snakes appear, all like almost like bats flying around you, skidding in or out. They burrow into the snake, into the worm. Lord, too many snakes. They burrow into the worm, and you just see them start to like tear it open. And literally like burrowing their way in and out, like the crows from Resident Evil. Just eating this large purple worm. Veracity, you start to see an opening in your bear form as light starts to pour through, and you can hear the sounds of hissing as snakes tear past you. Yeah. I mean, you're okay. It's
just like firing past you like bullets.
Yeah. Malice. Malice. 4 snakes. 16, 10. Does an 18 hit you?
Yes, it does.
1 snake bites you and deals a total of 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Oh, that's not too bad. 5, 9 points of poison damage as it latches onto your like neck and starts to like.
I think
bite
you're also
and attack.
resistant to poison at the moment.
Then you literally take. Did I say 9 in total? Didn't I? Yeah. 8, 4. You take 5 points of damage as this snake bites you on the neck, and 4 more like I think sort of like chapping at you as you're like summoning them all. You will soon have 16 snakes. You'll soon have 16 snakes to deal with. If you don't, I guess you can drop concentration on this if you want. I don't know. I don't know if it says you can. I don't know if it says anything about them going.
No,
it doesn't.
Say how
I'm
they
just
leave.
I'm gonna say if you drop concentration, they leave.
Okay.
We're out of initiative.
They're just fucking snakes now.
You guys could just see. You can see all these snakes that are tearing this worm open. A bear on fire crawling its way out. And whilst Malice has done this like very epic moment of like cutting open like Red Riding Hood opening up the wolf woodcutter style, freeing Veracity and allowing all these snakes that have just sort of arrived out of his body, then just start to be attacked by those snakes. You notice like a few of them are just like attacking Malice, and one of them's like hanging onto his neck, and like its little wings are flapping about. Malice, are you going to drop concentration?
Hang on, I'm going to roll intelligence and see if I can figure that out. No, I just start batting them away like, oh, why are they doing this to me?
Okay, so what you're trying to tell me is I've got to roll 16 d20.
I didn't let it go.
Protea, would you like to do something about these snakes?
I mean, I don't know what I can do, but
They have 5 hit points.
okay. Well, I'm just gonna start Jim's magic missiling them. I guess.
Nice.
And I will cast it at sod it, 4th level, so at least I get them going a bit faster. So
12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah. I mean, I can get 4 of them gone. I don't. Alternatively,
I would say just roll like all the damage, and then in multiples of 5, I'll get rid of them.
You have permission to hit me to break the concentration if you want.
Ooh. Oh, well then in which case, sod that noise. I'm just going
attack Malice.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm just going to cast, let's do something really
Dispel
basic.
magic would work, yeah.
I do not have Dispel magic.
We'll just flick him.
Yeah. I was just going to cast chuck Jim's glowing coin down. Stop thinking about the snakes. Look at this.
That's good. Go for it, yeah.
Yeah, there's a coin on the floor. Can you make me can all of the snakes make a wisdom saving throw? And Malice.
All right. 1 fail. 2 fails. 3 fails. They need to be a what?
16.
That's another fail. It's another fail. That's
I
1 success.
I think my wisdom saves are genuinely cursed because I got another 1.
Well, then they disappear, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's also a
It
bad.
did its job.
That's a bad D1 card for me. So yeah, you do manage to get rid of all 16 snakes as concentration has dropped.
This is
neat, a gold piece.
The snakes just sort of like disappear into like nothingness. You are now out of combat. The worm is dead. It's sort of like bile is sort of like going out onto the floor, and you notice like the acid sort of melting away, like the remnants of somebody's like tent. A lot of destruction has been caused. You sort of like look around. What's everybody's passive perception? Sorry.
12.
Max just shook his head.
18.
18.
If I'm I get to keep it as a beast. Yeah, all good. 18.
I'd say Veracity, you notice that the sounds of combat, not only from your side, but the other side, has seemed to have like died down, and there's less screaming, there's less panic within the area. It seems to be a bit more calm.
I will turn back into a person.
I would look around and see if there's anybody hurt or needing help or anything like that.
There are multiple people, sort of like some of them who just weren't fast enough. You notice that there's like these large, almost like freshly dug graves, in the sense where the earth has been opened up and then allowed to sort of like rebury itself, where the worms burrowed through before you got there. And in there are like people who are literally climbing out of the dirt that weren't swallowed by the worm, but almost taken by the flow of the movement and the earth moving itself, the undercurrent of the sand.
I'd go and start helping people out then. Yeah.
Nice. Would you like to roll me a dex check? You can add your acrobatics if you want.
23. Oh, acrobatics. 26.
26. Yeah, Vega, you go straight to work and you are pulling people out of the dirt, like lifting things off of people, helping people carry loved ones to other loved ones, climbing through like horrible holes that have been sort of almost like concaved in. Like you managed to dig yourself into one of the holes that is still open, and there's almost like a subsection of cabins that people have gotten lost in, and you managed to it's like a good hour of helping people. Anything anybody else would wish to do?
How's Protea looking?
Blue.
Okay.
And unhurt completely, if that was the question. But
emotionally.
Well, cold. Yeah, just sort of blank almost. Whereas previously, Protea was pretty animated. It's now very...
I might just poddle on over and just produce flame cantrip and go, you looked a bit chilly. I'll just follow you around with like this for your hands if you want.
I will say it's fucking hot. You're in the middle of the desert. Yeah.
Protea's like got ice. It's weird.
No, it's fair. It's a fair logical assumption. But it's like blowing in the wind, essentially.
Affection in the form of flames.
Protea will gently cover a hand over the flame and just go, and yeah, it'll hurt. I'll roll whatever damage needs taking. And we'll just go, there are other people who need this more.
Nobody else needs warmth. It's very hot. You're the only person who's cold right now.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah. Protea would like to look for her sibling.
Yeah, if you want to... You gather that Kaiman's probably helping. Oh, well, Kaiman was with you when Itara flew away. So Kaiman is with you guys, probably helping Vega. Vega's like bringing people out. Kaiman's probably healed your leg and like put some bandages around it and things so that you are able to help people better, Vega. You know, like as you're probably like trying to help people, she like stops you for a second and says something along the lines of like, you're no good to anyone if you can't help yourself, so give me a second, and like heals your leg and puts it back into like it's fully like healed. There's no mass missing or anything like that. and even like cleans off the blood and things like that for you.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. She then goes upon just helping anyone that's been hurt, anyone that's been damaged. She doesn't use any more spell slots, but sort of like goes back to, unless it's really necessary, but she goes back to just sort of like bandaging, first aid, coming up with like if there's any sort of like injuries, that's probably when she uses magic, but very sparingly. It's mainly bruises, sprains, and maybe like the odd bone that needs setting, but not really anything drastic. If there are any sort of like punches or anything like that, she is healing them and making sure that there's nothing really needs to be sorted. And making sure that wounds don't get infected. The usual. But would you like to do anything, or are you just sort of watching from afar?
I think just going to walk up and say, our time to go approaches. You have sending. If you want to use it, great. I respect your privacy.
What do you mean by sending? Sorry.
As a message, sorry. You have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch, I guess. Yeah. I haven't, unfortunately, got the words or the time, and she sort of gestures around to all the people that need her help right now to express how much I've missed you. But I will see you soon. And I'll speak sooner.
Do the rest of the family the courtesy of letting them know where I've gone.
Don't be silly, Protea. You'll be back. She puts her hand on your shoulder and then goes back to work.
Yep.
And it is very awkward. It's very much like a touch, and then like she's never been good with emotion, and she literally just sort of like touches your shoulder and then scuttles off to help someone.
And we'll return to the rest of the party, I guess.
Malice, Jamie, are you helping, or are you just sort of standing by?
I feel like I'm kind of looking what people are doing as I kind of look very accusingly at Shanaeno. And after a while, I'm like, oh, active helping people. Jamie, should we try?
I'm not much of a healer, but she'll pop over and go find like the ones that Protea's sibling sort of needs to get to next, and she's just going along being like, spare the dying, spare the dying, spare the dying, almost like preempting the work, some of the work that Protea's sibling needs to do.
That's really funny.
Right.
Spare the dying. Spare. Like, I like that you go up to a kid, they're fine, you're like, spare the dying.
Dying. And then now and then she'll look back at Malice and be like, yeah. And then she'll go and spare the dying, spare the dying.
I would like
winters past, scared.
I would like to make similar rounds, just tapping people, going, there, you'll be okay. There, you'll be fine. There, you did great.
You roll a performance check for me, Malice.
Yes, I can.
Are you self-imposing disadvantage with that roleplay?
It might be. Let me see. Oh, yes. Okay, that's a 2.
I'm so sorry, but so pleased.
You there's like a few kids and things like that who are sort of like bemused by you, and then you go up to like a curmudgeonous old man and like you pat them on the head. They're like, "Get off of me! Why you go do something helpful?"
Oh, I thought I was.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
Oh,
Shoo!
okay.
Shoo!
And it just kind of scuttles away.
You
Give me a
big
pitch behind
city
the
folk
dying.
and your big axes. At some point, you see Rolvuk, Kafnali, who's the satyr, Rolvuk's partner, and Hitara all walk up to you guys together, Hitara is like covered from head to foot in what Veracity's bear form would have been covered in. Rolvuk is like covered in dust and like a little bit of blood, and Kafnali is sort of like in a similar situation. But they join you all, and Rolvuk sort of before they get to you, see Rolvuk turn to Hitara and sort of say something politely and nod. In fact, do you want to roll an insight check?
Nat 20.
Well, get another card.
Yeah.
21.
21. So Hannah, add
26.
a D8. Oh. Add a D8 after making a skill or attack roll at any point in time.
Thank you.
No worries. So, anybody else rolling an insight incredibly high?
Just a 9.
Just a 9. In that case, Malice, you have no idea. You're too busy thinking about that old man that told you to go away even though you're trying to help him.
I try and give Atara just a tiny little.
The rest of you notice that Rolvuk is definitely thanking Hitara for whatever's happened. You gather that she kind of dealt with most of the situation from Rolvuk's comments to her. Rolvuk comes up to you and he stands with you. Hitara sort of sees you give a nice little bit and just sort of smiles at you and nods. Those like blue eyes sort of flash at you as she looks up. Even from the distance she's at, they really stand out. They're kind of like the most sort of poignant part of her physical appearance are these like almost like glowing blue eyes that could be seen off from a mile away, you gather. Volvik comes up to you and he's like, so I'm to understand that you have come to some sort of agreement with Hitara? And he mainly looks at Malice.
I don't necessarily speak for the entire group, but I would like to give it my best shot.
Right, well, thank you. We've been told that this is it. We can't come with you. It will be left to you, and so is our future. And he sort of looks to the rest of you now.
Protea prestidigitates him.
Oh, thank you. We only know combat spells.
Wherever Malice goes, I guess I'm going with at the moment.
We'll do our best for you.
And I kind of go up to Veracity and just kind of kneel down and just be like, I know, big one, that this hasn't been the most fun adventure. Your strength would be appreciated, but if you want to go, you can.
Maybe you want to go. We're fighting bad people to save the lives of other bad people. Whether we lose or whether we win, they're people who are going to invade Faerun.
But bad people are not necessarily irredeemable.
But you don't redeem people by hitting them or setting them on fire.
I would like to say in a very low voice, I had a chat with Atara. She seems to want to change things in a good way. This could be just a small step in making a good change, I think. Maybe. But I understand if you want a more immediate thing. You are very young. And if you want to do something that's more straightforward and to not have this on your conscience, we can arrange for you to go somewhere safer.
It's not about safety and it's not about straightforward. It's that there doesn't seem a good outcome. Either, well, hey, we beat the army or we persuade the army, they go off to go commit genocide on some other plane. And then therefore Rolvuk's people are left to go maraud on this plane, or we lose and we all die. There doesn't seem a good outcome to this.
Welcome to the adult world.
That's incredibly patronizing, Malice.
No, I mean, this is the world I live in. Nothing is ever black and white. Nothing is ever good and bad. There's shades of grey. You don't know how it's going to turn out.
Then why bother?
Great question.
And you've got to do something.
To realise the situation itself has actually got nothing to do with what should be important to you. It's how you're deciding to learn and move on from it. The actual situation itself may be the worst thing in the world, but how you yourself handle it and learn from it, become someone following, whether you believe in fate or paths or destiny, you're truly becoming who you're supposed to be. The actual situations around you are just molding you. You never know. You may not be able to see I don't know if the heroic or the good choice right now, but you never know. In a couple of situations, a couple of choices, a couple of conversations, you could be the savior of two races, or you could put everything back to how it's supposed to be. It doesn't have to end up badly, and I quite like it to not end badly.
And on the other hand, if we do get rid of this army somehow, we can always get rid. And Protea looks. Are the priests anywhere nearby?
Just your sister.
Pardon?
Just your sister.
Right. We could always get rid of the zealots here. They seem to be the ones instigating the takeover of Faerun.
And there we find the slight little positive.
I mean, it's not positive. You think that hitting people isn't a way to change hearts and minds, but remove the
way
head.
to make them dead, but it's not a way to make them nice now.
Can't always make
I'm not
people
going
nice.
I'm not going to be fighting for bad people. I'm going to be fighting for the families that live in this city and the people around us that we've just spent the past hour digging out of holes. They might be a society of marauders, but that's not all they are.
Yeah. I mean, I sat here having an existential crisis, not helping, and that wasn't fun. So yeah, okay.
You don't
We're in the middle of a shanty town of people that have been displaced from their homes, and I'm going to try and get them back into their homes, if I can.
Yeah, okay.
I'll be very happy to have your help.
Okay. I suppose everything I ever wanted out of life is gone. But at least if some other people can have it, and at least I can have one group of people that I didn't abandon, it's probably good enough, right?
Good enough is often is the best we get.
Okay. Thanks.
You don't.
Sorry.
Once we go, we go. It's your choice to make.
And as you all sort of have that moment hanging above you, you all turn and look and see Kafnali, Rolvuk standing with the people that they swear to protect and look after, helping them. They are leaders, both of them, and they are loved by their people. And you can see them carrying children, helping elderly, helping the wounded, smiling and laughing. and being one with the people. They're not above them. They're not nobles. They are very much one of the people. And in the very distance, those two blue eyes stare at you, waiting. And that is where we will take a quick break. About 5-10 minutes, we'll see you back for part 2. The season finale, the tsunami. Cue the music. and welcome back to part 2, Electric Boogaloo, of the mid-season finale of Into the Wastelands, The Eternal Army. We last left off with our wonderful, intrepid Protea's predators, as they sort of had a bit of a moral conundrum. One of us might have been having like an existential breakdown.
And it wasn't the
not
usual
naming names
person.
or anything. Yeah, it wasn't the person you'd usually expect. Beautiful. Yes, so you are all sort of on the outskirts of this destroyed refugee camp with this large purple worm still very present, its corpse decaying in the hot sun. Sorry, was that too visceral? Saw Hannah's face like, no, that's not what I wanted to hear. Ew. Nasty. As you all kind of come to whatever conclusions you might draw, Rulvik and Kath Nally's tired little boy, tired little baby boy. Rulvik and Kath Nally are sort of helping the fellow citizens of Arkham Hasara. Hassar and Hitara walks up to you all. Again, just like covered head to foot in purple worm viscera. And she sort of like wipes a little bit that was sort of like dribbling from her hair and forehead into her brow and eyes. She just like wipes that off and she says, "So are we ready to go?"
I believe so.
Good to go.
I thought, wait, is Hitara the one who said, "Are we ready to go?"
Yes.
Okay, doesn't she have blue eyes? Sorry.
I'm also confused by this. You said brown eyes. Are we
Brown
ready to go?
and eyes.
Oh,
Oh, and eyes.
right. Thank you, Evie. Because I was like, did I?
Oh.
Yeah.
I was
I'm an
with
idiot.
Hannah. I was so
I'm so
confused.
sorry.
Thanks, Evie. You got my back. You know where it's at. Yeah, her brown eyes. No, I'm joking.
You made such a thing about them being blue. I was.
Yeah, her blue eyes gleaming at you. She's like, "Are you ready to go? Are we ready to
One
go?"
set of each.
Yeah.
Why not?
Everything's pointless anyway.
Oh no.
Yeah, that like the similar look kind of passes over to her face, so she's like, "Whoa, you guys have changed."
You fight one purple worm.
Yeah. She's not going to question it though. Sweet. So she's like, the journey's not too far from here. They didn't set up camp too far, so about a full day's travel by walking. I mean, if you want to, I walked here. If you want to travel via a steed or something, did you arrive on one?
We had some walks.
Okay.
But walking's fun.
Or walking is better.
Very good. Walking. Very good. Okay.
Does that mean we get to say goodbye to our excellent steeds?
If you want to go find the steeds, what the fuck are their names? God.
I wrote my friend down.
Jerry, Will.
Jerry, Will, and what was yours?
Bat firm.
Rockbud but firm.
That's what I've got.
Wow. Where do I come up with these? Who knew? If you want to find your wargs and say goodbye to them, you certainly can.
Will quite wanted to eat me, so I'm happy to just leave that relationship there.
Do you want to say bye to Rock but firm?
No, it's fine. I just wanted to remind everybody of the fantastic name.
Sweet.
That is entirely fair.
The new character is farming in my brain.
A warg turned into something else now as a player character. Sweet. So you head off into the Wasteland. And Itara leads you. She is walking just completely at ease. You don't seem to see like any of this heat or the weight of her armor, which is like practically full plate. She's missing like the odd pauldron. She's missing a pauldron on one side, and not wearing a helmet or a shield. But she seems quite fine. She's just sort of like going her merry way. Would you all like to make survival checks for me, please?
Yeah.
I can try. Ooh.
$24.
Nice.
17.
Nice.
13.
10.
10.
Mhm.
10.
8.
Oi. So, Jamie, Vega, Protea, this journey
Did we have a short rest while we were talking?
Yes.
you can choose to have had a short rest whilst you were talking.
That would be pretty handy.
I'd say that you're back to health points anyway, because Kayan would have healed you up.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, because you're walking, you're no longer traveling on walk back. You're finding it a little harder through the sand. Your feet are slipping a lot more. You are wearing heels for some reason. Maybe I'm looking at Jamie. But yeah, it just seems to be a harder time for you. You do take a level of exhaustion, but you do camp down for the night as well. Itara sort of finds you a nice spot with the help of Veracity, who got an extremely high survival check, and you managed to find a little bit of sort of rocky shelter and set up camp there under the wonderful starlight. Say again?
I have a hut.
If you want to cast little Danny Hood as well, you can do so.
It's more comfy.
Yeah, do so.
Thank you.
And we all have to cuddle then as well.
Are we letting Hitara, her in the hut?
I mean, that's actually really funny. Protea will not actively extend it either way. So if somebody else wants to be like, welcome to the...
Wait, can't you choose whether people come in or not? So even if someone welcomes, you just walk straight into the outside of the dome.
That is a fucking hilarious question, and one I have not thought about.
Is that what you're gonna do to it?
No, I don't think so, because I assume we're traveling together. It just says that creatures and objects within the dome can move through it freely. So I assume she's within 10 foot.
If you allow it to be. Scuttle away from it. What's that over there? What?
No, I let her in the wizard hut.
Yeah, you sit down next to a fire. You're still surviving off rations. There was no food that was sort of handed out to you whilst you were at the refugee camp. So you have to make do with what you've had. Yeah, anything anybody would like to say to it? Or to each other, for that matter.
I wouldn't mind after maybe any other people want to talk, collaring Veracity for a little bit. I feel like that box is overflowing now.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Oh, it's just, yeah. Anybody's welcome to join in on this.
Is it just around the campfire? Rusty,
No,
what's going on?
There's sort of, it's if someone really, really wanted to listen in, we'd be close enough for someone to hear if they were doing the snoop, but not actively trying to.
It's not an intervention.
Yeah.
Good.
Or,
Run away.
attacking you, because that's totally unfair. And she's just going to be like, I don't know, maybe some jerky or something in the rations. I don't know if if you partake in the jerky, but she'll be sort of just passing stuff out of her rations. I don't know where jerky came from, but I'm going with it now. So you're not okay, right? Like all of this stuff.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I'm fine.
Fine's not okay though. Like this, I don't know. I don't want to, like you're just a ball of fire, and right now it feels like you're fizzling out, like someone's choking the oxygen away from you a little bit, and I feel like it's becoming to the point where you're struggling to hide it now. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I don't entirely understand people's emotions very well, but I feel like if I'm noticing, there might be something going on.
I mean, I'm miserable, but it's not very important.
I don't know. For some reason, it's important to me.
Inside check. That is a dirty 20.
I guess. That's a 23.
Then I have no idea.
She's incredibly genuine, I think. It seems like she's trying. She looks very uncomfortable. She seems to be trying really hard to. It's almost like you don't think it's fair nobody's checking in on you. Like, she's never met you before and you've come into this place and been like, adventure, come on everybody, stop, please. Like, let's have fun. And everybody's just like, no.
That is exactly how it
We've got
feels.
problems. And you're like, but, we could have fun or not. So, yeah, it's very, very genuine. I can't remember what I left it on. Yeah, she sort of, after finishing that sentence, sort of just sits there and kind of gives you the space to decide whether you want to talk or whether you don't.
You know, when you sort of thought you were one sort of person who wanted things and had one set of values and one set of flaws and one hope for thing, and that sort of made you, and that was fine. And then it sort of all changes, and I don't really know what I'm doing or why or what the point of anything is. But all of that's completely irrelevant. We're going to get killed by an army tomorrow, so...
Maybe, but it'd be nice to at least have some intention of action.
Are you having this conversation in front of everyone, or is this like between you two?
We're like sat away, but if someone was actively trying to listen in, they probably would be able to hear us. I feel like that was the vibe. Like, if it would just sound like drowned out noise, if you were just sat staring into the fire, for example, but if you were like intentionally tuning in, maybe that would be the case. But I don't know if Veracity is trying to be quiet or not.
Veracity doesn't do quiet very well.
No.
Just some characters might have a very high passive perception. That's all. It's just looking at some passive perceptions going on. Continue, please.
Like, I think I understand what you're saying, but I was never allowed to sort of decide how I wanted to be. I was just told how to be. So this whole world of being able to like choose to be good or choose to be nice or choose to go get yourself killed by a huge army tomorrow, like, and she sort of leans in. I can't help but feel slightly excited for the first time.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad.
So what I find hard is, I understand everybody has their own feelings, and there's obviously something that happened, because you sort of passively mentioned once or twice about, I mean, you obviously were very close to whoever you were traveling with before. And correct me if I'm wrong, but from the little pieces you said, it didn't end very well.
I did a bad thing again.
I mean, you're talking between me and you. I'm an ex-cult person, so we've both done bad things, so I wouldn't worry about that. You can tell me.
Is that a deception check? Because you're technically still in that cult.
Would that just be against Veracity's passive?
Yeah, I don't think I'd roll against that at the moment. And my passive insight is 18, though.
There is a hint of she's not. It's like technically a lie, but she's trying to tell herself that's not true. I feel like that's a good way to put it.
That works.
Because she definitely did not lie well.
She's lying to herself more than anything.
Yeah. What did you do?
I left them. I ran away. They sort of were the first people who'd ever really been nice to me. And they took care of me. And when the curse happened and I couldn't go home, they said, don't worry, we'll be your home and we'll follow you everywhere. And they did, and they meant it, and they stuck with it. And then this weird person who looks a bit like Protea turned up saying they were from the future and said there was a huge disaster and everyone had to stay and help. So everyone stayed and helped, but I couldn't stay for very long and they were going to come with me. They were saying, well, only stay as long as you can take it. Don't worry, we'll go when you go. But then this other person was saying that if they go, everyone else would be in trouble and they were going to come with me. So I sort of ran away from the only people who've ever been nice to me. And I didn't tell them where I was going, and I didn't tell them that I loved them. And I can't go back because they have to stay in one place, and I can't stay in one place. And if I tell them where I am, they'll come after me and they'll probably die. So I sort of don't have a home and ran away from my family. And my original family are horrible. And I thought that maybe I could set fire to things, not just as a disaster, awful person, but maybe as a way to sort bad things happening. And it's not that, because like Malice says, I'm being childish and there are no bad people to set fire to. It's all just complicated and grey and everything's horrible all the time. And that's it now until you die.
You can see sort of all of this information ticking over. That shit. That is not fun. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by trying to tell you it's all going to be okay, because I don't know. I'm not some soothsayer oracle, but you found people that loved you, and you passed over the word curse very quickly, but is that in the literal sense or in the...
Yeah, I told Malice he can fill you in. I annoyed an archfey, and she realised the one thing I wanted most of all was to be allowed to go home, so she made sure that I could never go home ever again. And if I'm somewhere for more than a day, I start feeling sort of itchy, and then it gets worse and worse and worse, and then I sort of have to go.
You ever looked to the cure?
I don't think there is one. She was powerful. And my friend Nelka, she can sort of lift curses. She has some magic and she couldn't do it.
sometimes with curses like that, though, it's not about magically lifting them. It's about you learning and lifting it yourself. I don't know how entirely true it is for this one, but I mean, I used to quite like the fairy tale books when I was a child, and it was always well, I don't think you're looking for a true love's kiss, but you know, might not be something that you need someone else to fix.
I mean, in the literal sense, I think the only way it could ever get fixed is if I go to the Feywild and sort of ask the nice, maybe Archfey very nicely to fix it. But more emotionally, I sort of thought the fix was all the nice people staying with me forever, and would make a home on the road and it would be okay. And then I just broke that. And then I met all you people and thought I could start again with a new family. And then that didn't work because you just find me annoying and you have different rules about things and I can't help.
I mean, I wouldn't put words in my mouth too much. I find you, maybe to you, surprisingly delightful. But do you think maybe finding such drastically different people
was a very bad idea? Yes, I do. You're all wonderful, but you don't need me. You need someone sort of edgy who wears black and a lot of eyeliner and just sort of smites things.
I believe you're incredibly wrong.
That's
I think.
Abrupt.
Yeah, but I mean, you passively said a couple of times you've spoken to Malice about these things, which is...
He's lovely.
Yeah.
And he cares about you a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, he's kind of like one of the very few in our family that are really worth giving time to. But
Family's stuck.
Yeah. But would it help if I told you something?
I think that depends on what you tell me.
So, it's not necessarily a curse, but you could construe it as a curse. But as I'm sure you may have figured out, I wield magic that's not my own.
With the skin rippy tentacle things, yeah.
Yeah, but I get something up. It wasn't cursed upon me, but I get something up for it.
Malice maybe told me a little bit about it.
This may be slightly out of what Malice would have been told.
What's wrong with you? Can I help?
No, it doesn't belong in my soul anymore. That's kind of the point. I gave up the right to ever have a family of my own. It was the condition. I can never find it. I'm terrified every single day that I'm going to get too close to you and that's going to construe in some clever, vindictive way as family, and I will have to leave immediately. Apparently, it doesn't seem to, in a sense, cross over to Malice. It's something I have to build myself, not just be given through blood.
That's terrible. That's worse. What happens? Who did this, and what happens if you get close to people?
Never have.
I think you're a horrible person. So anyway, is there a way of fixing it?
I don't believe it belongs in me anymore. The true nature of being able to form it doesn't exist.
You just don't think you can?
I think when it happens, I don't know if I will be under the pretense of actively choosing to walk away from it or totally run from it, but you never know. Something might just take over my body and I'll flip you all off and walk the other direction. I'm not entirely sure.
We could stop you if you wanted, if that happened. The four of us are quite powerful. We could sort of make you stay if that's what you wanted.
know if I want that now.
Oh, yeah, we wouldn't if you didn't want it. That would be bad.
But no, I'm desperately trying not to compare suffering because I don't think that's fair. But what I'm trying to do is, I think you're here for a reason. I think we are doing something for a reason, and I've never really ever felt that way before about anything. I've done nothing but praise and do as I'm told. So this whole idea of going on a whim and meeting a load of people that have got their own incredibly complex, intertwining storylines that are sort of balance around each other is fascinating and interesting, and that can't be just coincidence. I don't want to accept that. So I what I'm trying to say is I'd love for you to embrace the coincidence.
Yeah, you are right. I just used to know things really clearly, and everything sort of is shifting.
I feel I'm sure quite a lot of the people here are quite terrified of the unknown.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I do think you still have it somewhere. You made that flower for someone you didn't know because you knew it was a dignifying and loving thing to do. Doesn't sound like someone who's had their capacity for love carved out permanently. I mean, you're terrible and heartless.
That Protea is going to come over and go, what the fuck are you talking about?
We're rehearsing a skit.
Jamie, you didn't tell her, did you?
What skit?
I think back where it came from myself.
I was just about to... Dumb.
I mean, I don't know if I can already infer that Malice has been up to Malice good. I don't know, because I only rolled a 9 on my insight to see what you were trying to pull off there. But
Oh no, it's not like trying to pull anything. I'm genuinely asking.
oh yeah, because it looks like we're arguing.
Told her what? What skit? What?
We thought we could maybe charm the army with some whimsy. And so we were working on our improv comedy.
Do I get advantage on this insight roll?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
May I also roll on the insight without advantage?
Jamie's just staring blankly, like completely missed the even opportunity to try help.
That's a 23.
And
I got a 5.
advantage, I rolled an 11. So I'm lying through my teeth and saying the first things that come into my head.
What did Vega roll to you?
Dirty 20.
Oh, yeah, we're lying for our fucking teeth.
Also, quite stressed, quite sad. Clearly, a difficult conversation has happened.
Jamie, you're not supposed to show the birthmark to anyone. You know the rules.
You have a birthmark?
Oh, hey, look, a flying snake. And I just kind of duck away. Or try to anyway.
A
Is
flying
this to do
snake.
with the cult that you definitely used to be a part of that took away your soul? You have a birthmark.
What? Birthmark? I said worth fart.
Is there
don't think
anything
that
you
means
want
anything.
to tell us before we go fight for our lives?
Jamie can't get too close to us, or a sort of sentient evil will come and take her away, whether she likes it or not.
That seems
Wait, what?
problematic.
That was it, right, Jamie? So by this point, we might as well just, they heard me yelling at you. It's probably reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, you all are aware I have a pact. You know, my magic is my own. someone else owns my soul and the conditions. I don't know. And yes, me and Malice used to belong to a cult, not the same cult, just the different branches. I think that's the word. Yeah, and there's certain conditions around my soul that means if I formed my own family, I'd lose it immediately.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's very bad.
Yeah, she's really robotically sort of listing this stuff off, almost like definitely wasn't ready to be opening up about it, but almost like she's like, yeah, we've been trapped.
Question: did I know about this?
You didn't know about the soul, but everything else you'd known about.
Okay. Well, this explains why you flipped me off my last birthday party and walked away.
This is why I was shouting at her, because if we get close and then sporadically go, you terrible person, I'm not close to you or consider you family at all, then maybe that will work.
Almost 100% sure he's sat and listened to that entire conversation.
Well, that's all right, because we're not family. We're co-workers.
But I'm literally your cousin.
Yeah, well, I believe it's the family I choose to make, not the one through blood. So I'm blessed to have you, hopefully.
As you say that, it's like a sharp pain in your heart. It's just a second, but I'm blessed to have you.
Does she like actively show it?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to not. You feel weaker. You do feel like all your magic is like almost been like ripped out of your chest for a second.
Yeah, so instead of her white porcelain skin as well, it's almost like you can see the black veins sort of coming out of her skin as well, where they would be underneath. Almost showing up like black marks as she sort of clutches her side and goes back a little bit.
Vega's correct. We are co-workers.
Any place of employment that refers to its colleagues as family is probably unhealthy, so...
This is true. That's half the problem we had at the cult. Everybody was doing overtime for no extra pay.
Terrible.
I think...
Yes, maybe co-workers is good for my general health.
If you would like to retain your magic, there are other ways to have magic that we could. Protea like gestures at this like cute little book bag that's been just goes, and we know you can read, so
I mean, I was told that I'm totally barren of magic.
Wouldn't they tell you that to make you accept dodgy cult deal? They wouldn't be like, hey, you've got loads of natural magic, but take our dodgy, horrible one instead.
This is a sort of thing you learn. It's not something that's innate per se. I mean, some of it, Protea, like gestures at the blue and the ice crystals. Some of it can be, but wizarding is something you do, not something you are.
I'm just going to throw this out there. I know I mentioned this before, but magic doesn't have to be the be-all and end-all. I'm a good fighting teacher. I can teach you to kick ass in a very colleague-y kind of way.
Probably, for now. If we're fighting an army tomorrow, Jamie doesn't have time to learn an entire new discipline. So maybe stick with your co-workers who appreciate you and are happy to have you around because you're an effective colleague.
We can upskill you another time.
Salty class. And I'll learn a bit of monk as well, for sure.
Bless.
Yeah. Yes, I feel slightly sick. I feel like I've told you my entire personality in the space of 5 seconds of
You did.
unemotional
Yeah, that
splurge.
happened. You started it, though.
No, I did. It's my own fault. And we got...
You
Yes.
started it.
See, I told you I wasn't very good at doing this whole nice thing.
It was great. I'm not nearly as upset about myself now because your situation is so much worse.
Thanks. I mean, I did make that statement about not comparing suffering, but...
Yes, we don't like
Let's
the
get back
tragedy
to that
Olympics, do we?
No.
Bedtime, I think.
Yeah.
I just
Tara gives you the thumbs up from across the fire.
And the important thing is, no one mentioned anything about birthmarks. Saved it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Niall,
Awesome.
I would like to cast Ascending before I go to bed, please.
Of course, who are you sending to?
Viorica.
Oh, okay. What are you saying?
Hi. It's Veracity. I never said sorry for running away. I didn't want you to be torn. I will come back if I can. Love you.
A little moment passes as the rest of the group sort of like shuffle down into bed, getting comfortable. Jamie presumably looking very sick and not understanding what she's just done. Or maybe even the reasons why. But you hear, as you're sort of like gazing into the starlight, I can only say it's good to hear from you. I trust you completely. To be honest, rather mental here. And I miss and love you too.
I think I might use my wild shape to conjure Sparky to have someone to cuddle as I go to sleep.
No worries. So you all go to bed? Nice. As you all close your eyes, a pair of blue eyes watch your sleeping bodies as the night passes over. And Vega, in the night, maybe again during your meditation, maybe you don't really lay down, maybe you just sit in a massive pose when you sleep. What do you do when you sleep? Do you sleep like a regular human being? Or?
It's somewhere between. I mean, no, it's probably more lying. Like there's certainly an element of like curling up.
Yeah.
Do you pap the cushion before you go down?
Making biscuits.
I don't think so. I think there would be a bit of like patting it, but at the same time, there's big claws, so I'd probably rip cushions open quite easily.
As you're sleeping, it's one of those things that you kind of, it's like before you get a cold, you get that heat that goes through your like sort of nasal area and your sort of airwaves. And it's almost like you're choking on brimstone and your eyes seem to be on fire. And through the fire, you see a high point in a castle. And you see this beautiful courtyard. And the courtyard, whilst itself is in this wonderful day, you look down at the city, which is on fire, burning, and lightning is striking the ground. Winds are howling. And at the very precipice and the edge of the courtyard is a figure stood in shining armor, very similar to Hitara's. They turn and those white eyes sort of glaze out and look around and then look at you, and they put a helmet on. And as they put the helmet on, you feel the area grow very cold, and you see icicles start to spread from the ground beneath them all the way up to your body as it freezes you solid. And you wake up the next morning in the blinding heat.
Cool.
Hitara's sat in the same position, just sort of like looking out at the sun and at the dunes, or is it June? As the sort of morning wind passes by.
Was the man with white eyes, was that the same that I saw previously?
It's the same man, yeah.
Yeah.
This big sort of hulking figure.
What was the
with
name
very,
again?
like, Crident.
Crident, that was it.
Or is it? I'm pretty sure I said it 5 different times. Crident. Yeah, Crident. And you notice, I guess like the first thing you would notice when you wake up is sort of the similarity in eyes between Hitara and Crident. Different colors, but with that same intensity.
Okay. And remind me, player, what did... Because I asked her about Crident before, didn't I? And I can't remember what she said now.
And neither can I. I don't really remember what you asked.
Wasn't she weirded out about the fact that...
Oh, yeah,
Vega
she was...
could see him.
Yeah.
The person Crident.
Yeah, she was more... I guess she didn't really answer the question because she was asking questions of you because you knew about it. So you never really found out anything about him.
So from waking up then, if she's right there, I asked you about Crident before and I never really got much of an answer. What can you tell me about him?
He's a good soldier. Hardy. A hard personality. Very volatile. Cold, uncaring. But funny. He's got quite a good sense of humor.
I don't expect he's going to be telling me many jokes, but...
No, not if they've picked him for you to fight.
And what about how he fights? Does he use magic, or...?
Well, his descendants is from the bloodline of Tiamat, I think. I believe it's from the colder regions of White Dragon demigodhood, I guess you'd call it.
So that magic comes from him, not like, for example, his armor or helmet?
No, we are all innately powerful, I guess.
That's... You say we, that's why your eyes look like his.
Well, mine blue.
They still look like his.
Yeah, well, you know. I don't know, I guess there's little tells we all have. Not all of us look like this. One of us was born without sight, but sees totally different altogether.
I understand.
Well, you know, some of us hide better than others. I mean, I guess I could pass off as one of you if I just had bright eyes. And then she thinks for a second, and you see her like eyes dull in color. She's like, see?
You've already helped us a lot, and I believe that you want things to change. So if you can tell me anything that will help when we have to face him, then I would greatly appreciate it. And I would like to try a persuasion roll.
On a persuasion check.
That's 21.
She looks out, but in your head you hear a voice, and it says, in my experience, people are harder to hit when they're flying. So I would suggest pinning him to the ground.
That was it. That was the advice she gave me.
I would also say you need to really hold your mettle. I haven't really shown you my full power yet, but I've seen many creatures run from us just by being. And we can be quite intimidating. And we're not just swinging swords either. We're innately powerful and godlike. So remember that. And your regular spells that you would use against other creatures, we can kind of push through that. We're descended from gods. We are God-born. This is not going to be an easy fight for you. Not in the slightest. So, throw everything you have as quick as you can, because you give him a moment, he will kill you. And she doesn't make eye contact with you the entire time.
I look at her throughout all of that, but say nothing. And when she's done, I stand up and just say, well, if you do think of anything, you can let me know. And just give her a nod and briefly make eye contact and then walk away.
As you like nod at her, she says, make sure to tell your friends. Or should I say family?
My co-workers, thank you.
So the rest of you start to wake up and rouse to the morning sun. And you head off for the day. It's not a long walk, and you start to see the edges of farmland. But that's not what really draws your attention first. It's these large windmills made out of metal and stone that swing. And as they swing, you can see like trails of like blue and green energy, sort of like almost like neon lights in the day. And the atmosphere is lush and vibrant, and you can see grass and grains being produced from this ground. You have gone from wasteland to fertile farm ground. And when you step closer into these sort of like fields of lush grass, it's no longer like humid and like horrible. It is glorious. It is fresh. It is beautiful. You can smell like fresh plants again. It's no longer that dry heat that's almost burning the back of your throat with every breath. Now it's clear and just beautiful. And in the distance, you can see these large, looming gray walls. You pass through many of these small sort of like windmill towers. And you do know. Roll either an investigation check or a perception check.
Go with investigation because it
Nat
is
20.
daylight.
Also not 20.
120.
Oh my gosh, guys! Give me a
25.
break.
More than that 20.
So, Hannah, you get succeed on a skill check. G,
Cool.
you get succeed on an attack roll.
Nice.
I hope you've been saving these up because you're gonna
Oh,
need
yeah.
them.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Okay, so natural 20s. Rebecca, you got a 24?
25.
25 perception.
Yes.
Evie?
9.
And Mike, did you make a roll?
Well, yeah, 20.
Hey, sweet. Investigation or perception?
Perception.
And Hannah, you're presumably investigation? And G, were you perception as well?
Go for perception, yeah.
Wonderful. I'd say the three of you, Jamie, Vega, and Veracity, you can notice that these like windmills are giving off the atmosphere and the aura, and you can sort of hear these like slight hums as you like go past them, and you can see like the mechanical inner workings of the very central spiral is this like glowing orb, and that's where the energy sort of seems to like ebb and flow out of as it like cradles down these turbine wings that spin as well. Protea, these are sort of like pointed out to you, like maybe Veracity is like, what's that? That's cool. And you guys are like spotting them all. And between the three of you and Protea being like, this is crazy. I think that might be like a mini Mythla. And Mythlas are basically like magic engines. They were made sort of like famous for creating flying cities, like flying ancient cities. And some of them were known to sort of like control the weather around them. These are like mini ones. That they're sort of spread around this city is to create like an artificial atmosphere within the wasteland so that they can survive and grow and have agriculture. Another thing that you do start to notice as well is water. There's like fresh water flowing through these lands and creating like little brooks and streams. And you do follow one that sort of like crawls up beside a dirt road that you can walk up that turns into cobbles as you get to these large 100-foot high walls. Hitara sort of like looks up and you can see sort of figures at the top of this wall, just one or two at most. One of them like raises their arm up and these doors start to open up very slowly, revealing this large stone made with like wooden structures as well. And you are like there are more trees and wildlife as well as you get closer and closer to this city. But inside is a full medieval city, like just completely sprung up from the wasteland. It's got wood and stone houses, cobbled streets. It's all quite flat. But the first thing that is on the left-hand side is this expansive garden and a massive lake that reveals like this large area that almost seems like a lush playground for anyone who lived here. And on the right-hand side is streets and towns and houses and taverns and the things that you'd expect from any regular city like Baldur's Gate or Waterdeep and things like that. The only difference is it's empty. Completely so. Apart from a few figures stood at the door, one of which is pulling a large chain and wearing full shining armor. Another stood just waiting for you, just seems to be like stood watching. And you walk towards and Hitara nods to them and they nod back. And nothing is said as she leads you through this wonderful garden, unless you guys want to say anything. On the left-hand side with your perception checks, you can see these like large stone statues built almost like, Crystal Palace is the dinosaurs. So Crystal Palace Park, for anybody who's watching this, has these like large figurine dinosaurs that are just great to look at. They aren't real dinosaurs. They're what the guy at the time thought dinosaurs might look like. So they're just sort of like weird, like weird big statues. And they are massive. And that's the only sort of like reference I kind of have for it. But they're of hobgoblins, and they have different lineages. And with your investigation check, Protea, you can deduce that one of these, maybe the largest one, is potentially Rulvuk's grandma, like great-great-great-grandma that once held this axe. And you can see in the picture, she's holding Shanae. In the picture, in the statue, she's holding Shanae.
I nudge Malice and go, axe twins?
Twinsies!
Gee, because you... Oh, sorry.
So I need to have a heart as true as hers.
Oh,
Looked up the Crystal
sorry.
Palace dinosaurs.
Totally forgot. Can you roll me a D20?
Oh, yeah.
I totally forgot about that. Constitution saving throw. And can you minus a D12, please, for me?
Okay, hang on. So that becomes a 9?
Sweet. Okay.
I think on the journey, I would have passed on information to people.
In regards
probably
to the
selling it as like I had this vision again, or a vision again, and from what I saw, I think these are some of the things we should keep in mind when fighting this big dude.
I will say that as you sort of start to broach that conversation, you notice, well, as you start that conversation, Katara just turns to you and says, I'm just going to quickly scout ahead. I think I've seen something. And just goes like a good 150 feet away from you.
Cool.
It's growing on me.
So yeah, I don't feel the need to play it, but everybody, yeah, I shared all that.
But that was back in the Wastelands.
Yeah.
Can I ready slow? Ready.
There's still more to come. So you G with your natural 20, as you are looking at all these statues and Shanae and Malice sort of like holding Shanae for in IRL, you can see that like just very far in the distance of this like wonderful play park and like this sort of like forest area, it does seem like this is like a natural place where people would just like go and wander and roam. You can see that there's like more statues further in the forest. You can't make out exactly what they are, but you know that there's the main ones that are like out here that you can see in all their glory, but there are more further in. And I will say with the natural 20, they're not as well maintained, they're not as well looked after. They do seem like they have been like overgrown and are part of the forest rather than sculptures that are more worshipped and looked after. Or remembered, I guess. Less worshipped, more remembered. But you pass through this stone wonderful city. Again, very level. There's not much hills or stuff to climb. There's like this slight incline, and you notice that they've sort of built sections where there's like a residential area and then like a market area, and levels, and you can go underneath and through. And they've built like there's like taverns that seem to be like in like arches and things like that. They're very chic kind of taverns and things. This is just because you've rolled really fucking high on the perception. Like, what else am I meant to say? But you sort of skirt your way in all the way to the center, where this entire city seems to be built around this large spire and cathedral castle, presumably where the king would stay. You're led there, and as you pass through this city, there are the odd Eternal Army soldier. You notice that they vary in size and weight, but not drastically. They're all medium humanoids. and the odd one might take their helmet off. The odd one might be wearing less armor. You notice that like some of books instead of full pauldrons, but it's all this shining gold, still motif going. But they're all human, and they all have different sort of like features, different skin tones, different looks, but all are human. And yeah, they're very sparse, and they seem to be ransacking this place. They'll be like in a house, just chucking out furniture, breaking things and open, like looking through. You'll see like one of them will have like like a box, and it'll be like a puzzle box, and they're just trying to figure it out. And then you'll see it open up, and they'll go, oh, and just chuck it away. You make your way all the way into this main area of the city, the palace, and you're welcomed in by, again, 2 soldiers, each at one side of the door, that open the doors up, and led into this great hall where there's a few more members of the Eternal Army. I'd say you've spotted about 100 so far of them. It's a big city, so that's not really that many, I guess, in terms of soldiers. But this great hall is spanned with about 20 of them. Again, not that many, considering this could fit a good 200 people in. At the very seat of the throne, Vega is something that you recognize a lot in a past, in a past vision, is a man stood beside the throne wearing a blind, like a blind, what was it called? A blind cloth? Is that right?
Blindfold?
Blindfold. A blind cloth. It's wearing a blindfold. Made of this, again, golden sort of white material. Wearing less armor this time. There's still like parts of it that's like lightly armored, but not full plate armor. Mainly sort of like robes and drapes, and it is very like pristine and beautiful. And sat at the throne is a man, again, with dark skin, but graying hair. And you can recognize some of the features from Hitara's face across on his, apart from his eyes, which are like a bright ruby red. And he has this circlet crown that goes all the way, like accentuating his cheekbones that sort of like fold next to the beard, and the beard sort of like hangs out underneath, and he has long white hair that falls behind him. And then the circlet has like little jagged crown points. He is not wearing armor. He is wearing sort of like a soft robe with more white gold. And he doesn't stand, he sits and waits for you to enter. As you get to the footsteps before the throne, Hitara kneels in front of you and bows her head to her king. She doesn't indicate for you to do the same. The king doesn't wait for you to do the same. None of that bollocks. She stands back and presents you. She just sort of like turns to the side at a right angle to you. And he looks you up and down, and then turns to the figure with the blindfold, or the blind cloth, as one might say. And he says, "These are the ones, sire." And the king looks at you and leans forward. And he says, "So, what is it that you want?"
Well, we want you to leave this city.
Very well. Is that all?
Not take over the world. Our world. None of that.
I'm not in the world-conquering business.
I'd like everyone to live, including us.
That I can't promise.
Shocker.
He smiles. Anything else?
What do you want?
I want a chance to do what no one has been able to do yet. continue to.
specifically?
I want to live long enough to see this world finally reach peace.
You want world peace?
In a sense of things. I understand that chaos and law itself falls within brackets, and these things must be kept at a certain balance. That is what my people do. And he indicates to all the different soldiers around in the room. I'm not as naive to think that we can cause peace in every single realm. No, what I mean is I want to build something strong, and I want to live long enough to do that. I'm the eldest that has ever lived of us. I'd like to keep that going. Usually we die due to fights. Taking matters into our own hands and protecting the material planes and the other planes of existence from each other is quite a costly fight. And believe it or not, a lot of kings die fighting for each and every one of them.
So what are you trying to build?
We are Godborn, but we don't live forever, as far as we know. I'd like to change that. I'd like to make sure that each and every one of these soldiers can keep fighting when they're struck down. Yes, we can revivify and cast spells, and a certain number of us can do certain miraculous things. And he sort of indicates again to those soldiers around him. But not everything is as easy. We've all experienced loss in this room, have we not? And he looks at you all.
I believe we have.
Please just get to the point. Are you physically building something or emotionally building something?
And how does wanting an army that never dies bring about world peace?
We're called an eternal army, but we're not eternal. I'd like to change that. We just keep doing what we're doing, but we're able to live long enough to see the fruits of our creation. Too long has men died sacrificing themselves for the greater good. We've lost soldiers, we've lost brothers, we've lost sisters, we've lost mothers, we've lost fathers.
Have
So
you
has
thought about...
everyone. Sorry.
Go for it, Evie.
So has everyone. This
Exactly.
seems incredibly selfish. And that's coming from me.
I wondered if you'd thought about just not fighting. That might help
Okay.
with the peace and the not dying. Look, I solved it. Can we go home now?
Okay, what would you do in terms of the astral plane and the millions of mind flayers trying to haunt your very existence?
I'd go deal with them and stop bothering these nice people over here who have to live in
You don't have to do that because we do that.
I mean, I have to be here, so clearly you're doing something very stupid. Oh, I'm doing it again.
He looks confused at you, sort of saying that you're doing something again, but chooses to ignore it. He doesn't stand, he just leans back and he says, I do not have to argue my philosophy with you. At the end of the day, I stand in a home. I stand in a seat of power. You have something that I want, and I have something that you want.
What
But
do
first,
we have that you want?
potentially answers. Now, another group came in here. A
So
lion.
can I insight check the potentially answers?
Yeah.
15?
He's lying.
Ooh, ooh.
He's afraid of something.
Okay.
But he is holding a very convincing front. Like, this isn't like, oh, he's lying, I can tell because of his eye twitches and stuff like that. This is like one of those things that just doesn't make sense. There's like an innate knowledge, there's something in you that just knows this man's afraid.
I have an idea.
He's gonna just finish. There was another group, a lion and an elf and a human. They have come for something, and we've set them on their task. They have proved that they are worthy and that they can fight with us, or for us at least. And you must do the same, if you're willing.
Well, I sort of had a very good idea, which is if all we want is for you to go away and all you want is some answers, why don't you ask us some questions, we tell you the answers, and then you go away without any fighting at all?
That's not how we do things.
Why?
Because our birthright is power.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I don't expect you to understand. Merely
I don't
stating
expect
facts.
you to know what power is. Power is not having to do things the way everybody else has always done them.
Make a
Or
wisdom
having to-
saving throw.
Me? Yeah.
All of you.
Okay.
Oh, this is very familiar.
I am famously bad at these. Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter, nat 20. And I would like to spend my fortuitous circumstance.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay.
I got a 23.
And I'll give you it for the nat 20. What is your wisdom modifier there?
Wisdom modifier. Great human question. +4.
Okay. Jamie? Say again, buddy?
Technically can't beat a 25.
Okay. Vega?
And that one for a 3.
Oh, and that one you say?
I was wrong. I added my wisdom modifier, not my wisdom saving throw, so it's actually 27.
Can you roll with disadvantage for me, please?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, that was a nat 20, so it's still 27.
Hey! Sweet. And
Both
Evie?
get cards.
That was a natural 1 for a 0.
Another one!
Yeah,
Oh boy.
my wisdom saves are cast.
You get your fortuitous circumstance back, Protea.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Jamie, Vega, and Evie. As you Protea, as you start to argue, there is like a weird, like red pulse. It's not completely like visible or anything like that. You just notice almost like a shifting color in the room as his eyes flash. All three of you are frightened just by the mere presence of him existing. The two of you arguing notice the effect on the others, but do not feel frightened yourselves.
Oh, so you're a coward as well as a bully. Good to know.
What gives you that impression?
You scare people when you're losing an argument.
I told you that you don't understand power.
Then explain it better.
Being in front of a god is scary.
Oh, except sorry. We're not frightened. You want something from us.
He smiles at you.
I would like to unfrighten my friends. How do I do this thing? There is a way to do this thing.
The way that Malice is frightened is he just kind of stocks still with tears streaming down, unable to move.
Oh, it.
So cute.
Silent crying.
That's really
I take an action and use a key point. Oh no, I don't use a key point. I just do it. Stillness of mind. I'm not frightened anymore.
Nice. You sort of like take a deep breath. You like feel the fear cling your heart, and you're like, these thoughts and feelings are not my own. I'm merely observing the fear.
I have in my ring a dispel magic, so I'm just going to use that.
It's not magic.
Ah, cock. Okay, well then I'm.
It's
not gonna
genuinely. It's his presence is fucking scary.
use that. Yeah, well, he
Nope.
can huff my nuts. Or Proteas, I suppose. But yeah, yeah. I think at this point, Protea is going to put a hand on Veracity's shoulder and go, well, this is the thing. If they don't want to tell us what they want, we're supposed to fight someone. Shall we just get that out of the way and then go? That seemed to be the pact.
Yeah, I don't feel like sharing any information or anything else if they're going to be so rude.
He continues to smile at you. So, you want to fight our champion?
I'd rather kill you.
At that moment, every single soldier in the room like pulls out a sword. Even like Tara like puts her hand on her blade, like at her back, and you see it's like a reflex. She's like looking at everyone else rather than looking at you.
And I'm a 2 foot tall
But
child.
slowly starts to like pull the blade out. You do notice the king doesn't look at the other soldiers. He looks at Tara, hesitating. And then he looks back at you. And then he puts his hand up and he just waves everybody down. Everybody like slowly sheathes their swords back. And he says, sorry, little one. They are very loyal.
Again, so brave, so intimidating. Whole army, fight off one child. Wow.
Sorry, can we get on with this? Only I have.
You said you made a mistake before, didn't you? I imagine that was with your mouth. And he stands and he says, you'll find the champion out there. If you can defeat him, then we'll talk. But if you can't, well, then you'll be dead and useless. And the others will do the job for us. If you want the city, that is the way forward. And he points out a different door, not the one you came into.
I hate him so much.
He's the bad guy.
No, you're doing it really well, Niall, and I want him dead. Or just
Yeah.
slap him.
With that, is everybody still frightened?
Jamie and Evie are stood currently frightened yet. I guess. Well, you can re-roll a wisdom saving throw. It'll be at 25.
Can we help?
I got a 2 for another one.
Technically can't beat a 25, so.
It's maybe like this character wasn't made to fight. Maybe this one's too hard to beat. There's one outside made for you.
I know, but you've made him so obnoxious.
Yes, that's the point of having scary bad guys. You might say they're not scary, but they can kill you.
How frightened would you say that we are?
It's that like instinct of seeing an apex predator. It's knowing that thing could just tear you apart and it would be easy for them. And they're thinking about it. There's 100 million thoughts running through your mind, and the first thing that it's saying to you is, get the fuck out of here.
She's not seeing a king, she's seeing Zazu.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
It's got nothing to do with him or his presence of mind or being scary. It's literally she can see.
But it's power. It's seeing power embodied in front of you in a creature.
I think that's what scares her. It's got nothing to do with the actual king himself, for Jamie anyway.
Alice still silent crying is still not moving at all, but just starts to vibrate with shaking, just unable to move.
The king leaves the throne and walks past you, or to a different corridor. He's pointed out the one you need to go down, but he's going to a different part of the palace. The blindfolded... Yes?
Presty stink lines.
Say again?
Can I Presty some stink lines as he walks away?
What, like you want to prestidigitate a bad smell in front of him?
I'll druidcraft the bad smell.
Yeah, just like he's crop dusting. That's the concept.
And a couple of flies. We're gonna die. I don't care.
As you do that, hiss goes down my leg.
Just as he's walking away, I just want there to be a bad smell as he's left. As simple as
As he left, not on him. There's a very
not
clear
on
distinction.
him. Where you do a poot and you keep walking. That's the idea.
But what I'm saying is there's a clear distinction between doing it on him and doing it where he once was.
If we do
Where
it on
he
him,
once
we die.
was. Where he once was.
Cool. You do that
Yeah.
and nothing happens. Nobody says anything or does anything. Hitara looks at you with like an intense, very intense glare. And not with a like I hate you, in as in like, oh my god, like just like it's like wanting to like be swallowed up in a hole and disappear from this situation.
See, previous Protea would probably not have done that, but she's got nothing to be like. Is it the level of nihilism? To be like, fuck it.
Yep. And I rolled a wisdom save and I rolled a 2, so I joined him because veracity has no fucks to give.
Okay.
You see, as you like are casting all these different prestidigitates and druidcraft, the blindfolded figure starts to walk over to you with like an extreme confidence. There is like he's walking like he's not blind, even though is like completely bandaged up in terms of like there is no room for sight around his eyes. You do notice that his hand almost like conducts his movement as he walks, like, you know, like somebody holds a walking stick. It's very similar to that, but just with like, it's almost like he's sort of like playing music with his hands as he walks down the stairs. And he sort of like walks over to Vega and like not extremely close, but he gets close enough like a friend would get close. And he looks at you and he's like, I have seen you before.
I have seen you before, too.
You were there when we first came here, weren't you?
Not physically, but I saw you arriving.
You were walking the streets of blood. I remember. And you were there with Trident as well, weren't you? And he's smiling at you. He's like you see him like looking at you, even though he's not. Like, do you know what I mean? He's like looking you up and down, sort of like moving around your head, like he was inspecting your aura.
I was placed there. I didn't choose to be.
Something very divine about you.
That's new.
It is. There's a few chosen one here and there. And he starts to like sort of like pluck violin strings around your head. And he like holds one very tight. And you swear you can almost hear like a drone as he like pulls his finger down it. The rest of you can't hear anything. And he's like, ah. And then he like follows it. Yeah. The weave has you in its grasp. Very nice. Very nice.
Oh,
So,
that is the way of things sometimes.
would you mind if I observed and watched the fight?
I expected you would. Such as you can.
Thank you. He sort of like puts his hands within his sleeves and gestures with his like body towards the entrance the king pointed to. Hitara looks at you all and just nods and starts to walk forward and lead you out. You follow?
Mhm.
You are led through this large corridor, and you can
Alice
start.
is left behind.
Oh no, you can all follow.
Oh no, I'm
The king's
shaken.
gone.
I am shaken to my core.
Veracity will come and take you by the hand and go, we should probably go now if we don't want to die immediately. If we want to die in 5 minutes, we should go now.
Okay. And Malice
It'll
is
be-
just checked out, just kind of looks vacant.
Oh. We'll deal with that in a minute. Come on.
I just kind of tag
You
along.
notice as you are like pulling Malice along, especially with your passive perception veracity, you notice like a few of the soldiers have like waited for the king to leave, and as he's left, like a few of them are like waiting for you to make a move, and as you guys start to move for the corridor, they're like slowly following you. And as you start to walk through this corridor, there are like multiple windows with these like wonderful stained glasses. So you can barely see out, but what you can see is this wonderful sunlight hitting these like slabs of like wonderful granite sort of paving. And you get to a door, and as the door opens to you, you can see this almost higher ledge that, well, it's the same one that you saw in your vision. And on the very far side of the ledge is a man waiting in full plate armor, helmet off. And the difference is now that the scenery is beautiful. The skies are not red. There's no lightning cracking the ground. There's no dust and blood. It is very fresh, very sweet, very beautiful. And veracity, you notice that some of the other members of the Eternal Army are taking their helmets off, and you can hear them talking to each other, and just over their voices, you can hear them say, like, it's 5 against 1, I think. I don't know if Ryden's going to be able to take this. And you can hear another one say, well, Ranito did get his ass kicked by 3 of them. And like they're like having almost this sort of like pally discussion between each other about like who they think might win, and they are sizing you up and trying to figure out whether you're magic users, whether you're like, you know, like what you can do, what you're about. And as you all sort of get to the edge of the doorway, the seer with the blindfold turns to you and he says, "This is our champion, Crident." And as you hear those words, you see the figure put a helmet on, turn, and these piercing white eyes stare at you as ice starts to trickle from his figure all the way towards the doorway. And the seer looks at you and he says, "If there was any moment to leave and turn back, run and hide, now would be the time."
I keep a really tight hold on Malice.
And with that grip, that is where we'll end this session. Thank you very much, guys, for playing. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience getting to do this story. It's been such a pleasure. So thank you very much. It's a shame we have to take a break, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But I'm very excited for 2022. Excited to see your faces and finish off this wonderful story that we've been building together. And thank you guys for joining and listening and being part of this wonderful, exciting show. If you do enjoy tonight, we are playing every Monday and Tuesday from 6 p.m. GMT BST and 10 a.m. PT PST. We also have a talks together on a Friday, I believe at 6 p.m. GMT, which is 10 a.m. PT PST. where we interview our players, DMs, and other TTD RPG voices. All our shows are streamed at twitch.tv/RollTogetherRPG, and you can find all of our content archived on youtube.com/RollTogetherRPG. There are also podcast versions of all our available shows, and they are available everywhere. Just search for Roll Together RPG. Massive thank you to our dice heads and the D20 Club on Patreon. There'll be a link in chat now, so do join up, sign up. Every penny helps. Big thanks again to our sponsors at Hero Forge, Ultra Pro, Elderwood Academy, and our supporters D&D Beyond, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, Warriors of Waterdeep, and Level Up Dice. We're all over social media as Roll Together RPG, so thank you again for watching. See you in 2022. Ciao, Bellas.